This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of a Gaming podcast. This is episode number 153. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Jared Schultz. Jared, we haven't seen you for a while. How you been?
I know, Lloyd. It's been forever since I talked to you. I kind of missed you, I have to admit.
Oh, I feel all warm and fuzzy now, Jared. Stop. Oh,
man, I missed you so bad. I'm glad to hear your voice.
Oh, well, that's good. I know you soothe yourself to sleep at night by listening to old podcasts on loop. I've already found that out about you, so I'm less creeped out now than I was from that. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. But seriously,
yeah, well,
how you been?
I've been busy. I've been very, very busy. Lots of stuff going on between work and everything else, and just crazy times. But you know, I'm here. I'm still alive, and we just have not been able to connect. You know, I was busy, and then you were busy, and then I was busy, and you found a substitute. And
yeah, it's been crazy. A lot of crazy stuff happening at work. A lot of other things happening. It's been all around crazy. So it's actually really good just to not deal with that right now and do a show before the craziness starts again. And that craziness would be Extra Life this year.
Segue.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw that in. How clever of me to do that. So yeah, Extra Life is happening this year. If you're not familiar with Extra Life, that is it's an online marathon to help kids in need. And the marathon is gaming, which is why we feel good about talking about it on this show. And basically what Extra Life is people all over the world get together and play games for 25 hours and take sponsorship pledges and then play the games and then sleep for days afterwards, essentially is what happens. And I've decided to jump on this year. I know, Jared, every year you do it. So why don't you tell everybody about your Extra Life thing first, and then I'll chat about what I'm doing to kind of be different this year.
Yeah, yours is cooler though. I'll give you that. This is my 3rd year doing it. I play because I have some family members that are seen at some of these Children's Miracle Network hospitals. That specifically, I have cystic fibrosis. So I know this is a little personal moment here, but we have it in my wife's family specifically, and so they would never be able to afford the treatment without the work that the Children's Miracle Network hospitals do. So, you know, that's why I play to kind of raise awareness. And I generally get a Steam chat room together with anyone, whether you're doing Extra Life or not, and it just kind of becomes a little bit of a party because everyone's in that Steam chat room, and someone will be like, "Hey, I want to go play StarCraft 2," and anyone who wants to go play StarCraft 2 with them goes and hops on, you know, and there's always different games going on. And we generally get like 20 people in there, and it's just a ton of fun because everyone just hops in, and you know, basically if you have a game that you really wanted to play with real people, you can almost always find enough people that have bought the game and are willing to play with you there. And it's just been a ton of fun. And then I always also will take a break at some point when my eyes are so tired, and I'll go play a couple of board games. And so I have that scheduled in too. So I'm still trying to plan out what games I'm going to be playing, but I'm going to be playing all sorts of different games, and I'm really excited for Extra Life this year. So if you're interested in playing along or doing anything, you can add me on Steam, which is usually probably the easiest way because that's the way I use to just, you know, have a Steam chat room going. So I'm Quacko. Imagine that on Steam, and feel free to add me, and let's play some games and help some kids.
Cool. Well, awesome. Good luck with your extra life, and hopefully you make it the whole time without passing out and doing embarrassing things while online, which I'm sure I'm going to be doing. I'm also doing extra life this year. And I joined up with the Inside Infinity podcast, which is a new member here at the VG Podcast Network. If you've been checking out the website, you've probably seen the new show that they're releasing over here on the VG Podcast Network as well. And I'm joining in with them to do Extra Life. I'm raising money for the Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba, which is my local children's charity. If you would like to support me, I would gladly accept that. And there's some cool things for supporters, but we'll get into that in a second. So Team Inside Infinity, there's going to be 4 of us that are going to be basically doing this together. And we got a pretty decent schedule planned out. We are going to be streaming on all 3 different consoles, so the Xbox 360, the PS3, and the Wii U. I'm going to be streaming on the Wii U. 2 of my other team members are going to be on the PS3, and 1 other team member is going to be on the Xbox 360. And basically what we've done is we've divided the 25 hours up into 25 one-hour blocks, where each of us gets that block to do something. So we're going to do some community gaming. So if you want to game with any of us while live streaming, you can figure out what our names are on whatever console you have, and then add us, and then jump in and play with us while we're doing it. We're also going to be doing some events where we're doing interviews with the actual game developers, which is pretty cool. So we have interviews with the developers, interviews with some of the artists, and some other things, some surprise interviews as well that are still being worked out. And even better, if you support us, any of the 4 team members, or the team as its own member, we're going to have some really cool prizes to give away. Avalanche Software, the creator of Disney Infinity, I didn't say we're going to be playing Disney Infinity for all 25 hours. So it's 1 game for 25 hours. So wish me luck.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That part's a little crazy to me.
Yeah, it is kind of insane, but I think it's going to be cool how it's broken apart. I'm going to be streaming on vgpodcast.com/live for all 25 hours. And then I'll also be joining in to the Hangouts for some of the stuff that we're doing as a group. So I'm going to be bouncing all over. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be enough tech stuff to kind of keep me focused. So I don't think I'll get into too much of a lull playing that game, but yeah. So if you want to support us in this Disney Infinity drive that we're doing, it doesn't matter if you support us for $5 or $500. What's going to happen is everybody that sponsors us, any of the bids, are going to get thrown into a hat. And we were graciously given 3 unique prizes that these are probably the only ones that exist in the world, from our friends over at Avalanche Software, the creators of Disney Infinity, and Disney themselves for agreeing to this. So we have 3 super prizes, and you have a chance to win them by donating to our Extra Life fund drive. So the first is a Disney Infinity base set, so the main game for the PlayStation 3 that has been autographed by everybody on the team that worked on it. So there's a box. Just picture a box covered in as many signatures that could possibly fit in on the box, and that's essentially what this is. This is a one-of-a-kind thing. It's the only one in existence, so that's a pretty damn cool thing. If that wasn't cool enough, this one is probably even cooler, and that is a actual piece of concept art. So it's this huge, I think it's like 3 feet by 5 feet, huge piece of paper. Looks like 2 artists were sitting at a table, one on each side of the table, just kind of doodling and sketching different ideas for the game. And you can see there's director's notes and other really cool stuff on it. That's been autographed by the 2 artists that worked on it. And this is a one of a kind. They were working on concept art, and you basically would take that and put it up on a wall somewhere and figure it out, and then go further down the design process. So for sure, there is only one of these. I've seen concept art for Disney stuff sell for thousands of dollars. and that's for Disney and Pixar. This is a video game, so maybe it's not quite as valuable, but it is going to be one damn cool thing to hang up inside of your house if you do win that. That is my personal favorite, and I wish I was eligible to win, because I would basically give myself $55 pledges to throw 50 names into the hat, and then have a chance to win that, because that is going to be really extremely cool.
Wait,
then,
I can do that?
Yeah, you can do that if you want. You can
$55 pledges, huh?
Yeah, and you get 50 tickets into the prize draw. It's gonna be great. It's like playing a silent auction at a fundraiser or something. You get that many more tickets. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And the final prize that we were graciously given is what's called a developer disc. And what it is if you've seen Disney Infinity, it's characters on a little circle, and you put it on the play mat, and then that character goes in the game. This is basically just the little disc that's at the bottom of the character, and it's been programmed with whatever character we want, essentially, that wasn't already out. So we asked for Wreck-It Ralph to be put on this one. That's autographed by the character artist, and you'll be able to play with Wreck-It Ralph months before he appears in stores. And it's another rare thing, because this was only used during development and during playtesting.
That's really awesome.
So it's another thing that you don't have access to unless you win this. So 3 huge prizes. Huge thanks go out to Avalanche Software and Disney. Disney's doing cool things, like they're doubling all of the bids that any Disney employee does on this as well. So Disney's stepping up as well. It's huge. We're going to be gaming with the developers. We're going to be gaming with the community. We're going to be gaming with hopefully you guys as well. It's going to be a huge thing on November 2nd, 25 hours. Come watch an old man lose his mind at about 4 a.m. and start spouting crazy, babbling, like ridiculous stuff, because that's probably what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be drinking so much Red Bull and other stuff to stay awake that I can only imagine the things that will happen on the live stream, and you want to watch that. So if you want to check out my Extra Life, you can go to vgpodcast.com/extra life. That will forward you over to my page where I'm trying to raise some money for the Children's Hospital Foundation of Manitoba. Jared, if you want to support Jared, we'll post this link in the show notes as well, and you can jump over and help Jared out as well while he plays many games. He's lucky. He's not focused on one thing. He'll be playing many different things. So I'm kind of jealous, actually. As much as I like
I'm not
Disney.
sure I could do one game. Like I know it's a great game. In fact, I did support you in hopes of winning a copy.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was really cool of you.
Because I'd love a copy. Plus, just trying to support you finally joining the Extra Life train.
I never thought I could do it because I'm too old, man. But it's for the kids, and I know a lot of people that have personally been helped by the Children's Hospital here in Manitoba. So I'm hoping that I can raise a huge chunk of money for them. I've already bumped up my goal twice. My goal is currently at $400, and I'm at $295 with 4 days to go. So I'm hoping that we can get some more people jumping in and donating and getting some more tickets into winning the awesome prizes that we've been provided graciously. So yeah.
All right. I guess
Life.
That's enough Extra Life talk, but it's going to be epic. It's going
to be a lot of fun.
You should at least come play with us, or come watch Lloyd do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And
I picked up
come do something fun on Saturday.
Exactly. I picked up a video capture card for this event so that I can live stream my gameplay. So you're going to be seeing what I'm seeing. I'm going to try to have a camera on me at the same time. I'm going to be in costume for the first little bit as well. So that'll be awesome. A nice little Easter egg thrown in. I'm going to a kid's birthday party, and it's a Halloween dress up party. And my costume this year is actually Woody, and my wife is going as Jessie. So we're going to be dressed up as the Toy Story twins.
That's kind of tricky, because doesn't Jessie end up with Buzz by the end of it?
Yeah, which is okay. I don't Buzz can have Jessie. That's fine. But for Halloween, yeah, we're going as that. I just finished my wife's wig the other day. I created a wig for her, so I'm even going to be in costume. So that is just ridiculous. At the same time, it's gonna be all sorts of stupid fun. You'll probably see me eat pizza. during the event and drink lots of caffeinated beverages, because I think that's what's going to fuel my resolve for this event is lots of caffeine. So do check it out on November 2nd, vgpodcast.com/live. Check out my Extra Life, vgpodcast.com/extra life. Jared, we don't have a really short URL for you. We should have set that up. I never even thought about it. I apologize here on the podcast in front of all the listeners that I didn't set up one for you. I should do that. How about I set up Extra Life Jared, or Extra Life Quacko, and it'll forward on to your Extra Life as well.
That'd be great.
That'll be set up by the time this podcast airs. So Extra Life, it's good. It's gonna be fun, and hopefully you guys can join us and you can win some really awesome prizes. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the show proper. Jared, you're playing a game right now, aren't you? You're
Maybe.
looking. Are you playing Pokemon?
No.
Oh, okay. I'd forgive you if you were playing Pokemon, so now I can't forgive you.
I was playing Pokemon while we were getting ready for the show.
Jared, what have you been playing recently? It's been probably about 7 months since we last talked, or at least it feels like that. So you've probably been playing a lot of stuff. Why don't you tell us about some of the highlights?
Yeah, and the App Store has been really, really hopping. Ever since iOS 7, it's like the floodgates have opened, and there's so much coming out, and I can't get to it all. Like, I have so many games downloaded that I'm like, man, I was really excited for that, and I just can't play it. So
I deleted, sorry to interrupt you. I deleted 12 games that I hadn't even started off my iPad recently because I needed more space. That's how ridiculous it's been. So
ever since iOS 7, it's been amazing.
Everything was waiting for iOS 7, and the floodgates opened, and I mean, it's all good. I'm not complaining, definitely.
Yeah, I remember a couple months ago we were talking about how it was feeling really slow, and I guess iOS 7 was part of the reason. So anyway, number one, this game is called Empire, the deck building strategy game. So first of all, Empire is a terrible name for a game because it's so generic. And it's by somebody famous, which I will remember it. I think it's like Keith or something like that. But it's such an amazing game because here's the thing. They went and decided to mix two genres that I've never seen mixed before. And the two that they did was it's like a 4X game, like Civilizations, which is kind of what most people know of as kind of the classic 4X game. And then they mix it with like a roguelike, meaning it's very difficult and you are eventually going to die. And they do a whole bunch of little things with it, like you can only have 3 cities. Well, as you have your city, this like plague stuff comes out, and you're just like in this really bleak world where it's just falling apart, and you're doing your best to scrape out a living and be a civilization that actually stays alive the longest, or accumulates the most whatever. So it's such an interesting game just because it's never been done before, and I love it. Like you're just trying to fight against the environment and try and keep your little civilization alive a little longer. And it's kind of cool because there's this battle mechanic that's pretty simplistic, but you get these cards, and these cards, it's kind of plays a little bit like a deck building game because you get these cards, and whenever you beat a battle, you get a card, and you have to figure out how to get cards that will allow you to continue to stay alive and fight battles effectively. It's just a really, really good game. And part of it is the originality, but it's a good game. So it's one for me that I wasn't really paying attention to, and all of a sudden it came out, and it's by Crazy Monkey Studios, and it's just one that I am just fascinated by, and I will continue to play this for quite a while, and I will make sure to talk about it here in the future on the podcast because I'd love to review it in more depth. but so far I'm really really enjoying it. So that's Empire, the deck building strategy game. So it may be worth checking out. So second one I've been playing is called Combat Monsters. So Combat Monsters is the newest game by the guys that did Great Little War Game, Rubicon,
Mm.
and I got into their.
Is it a cheap Pokemon ripoff to get some juice from the Pokemon X and Y release?
No,
Oh, I was surprised with a name like Monsters. I would totally expect that.
that's what you would think. Yeah, it's more. So there's like a hex-based grid, a hexagonal board, and you have a little summoner guy, and you summon your monsters, and then you send your monsters after the other summoner and also his monsters. So you'll want to focus some on their monsters, and you get rewards. And when you get rewards, you can then go use that to buy more monsters to make your deck cooler and make it work better together, and get the rare legendary monsters. But there's no exploration like in Pokemon. There's no leveling up. So I don't think it's at all like Pokemon. It's almost more like Magic or something, Magic the Gathering, with a kind of a board aspect to it. So it's a really interesting game. I was playing it in the beta on the PC, and it came out on iOS. And it's funny because the controls are a little bit more difficult on iOS, because the PC you could just click the mouse and get it. Whereas on iOS it becomes pretty tricky sometimes to get exactly what you want done. It's really good though. It's a fascinating game. Great follow up to Great Big War Game. It appears that even the single player campaign you can't play unless you're connected to the internet, which I don't like. Everyone knows, regular listeners know I have an iPod Touch, so I often don't have connection to the internet, and therefore it makes this a little bit tricky at times, because I can't play on the bus or something like that. So that's Combat Monsters. I'll probably be playing it more, but it's interesting because you're trying to collect the coolest and then build the coolest selection of cards. Also, the multiplayer, it's okay. They have decent multiplayer. The big issue is the matchmaking is absolutely horrible. You'll be new and writing your deck with like the bare minimum of things in it, and you'll get placed up against a guy with a whole bunch of legendaries and rares and everything that has played a ton and has 60 cards in his, or 60 monsters in his deck, and it's just ridiculous. So the online multiplayer just matchmaking is not good. Hopefully that'll come. We'll see. The next game I've been playing is called Dead Man's Draw. So Dead Man's Draw is a game by Stardock. It's one of my favorite PC publishers, and this is their first game on a mobile platform. So it's actually a pretty simplistic game, but then it has a surprising amount of depth to it. So basically, there's a deck of cards, and you are drawing from that deck. You can draw as many cards as you want. There are a total of 10 suits. However, if you get a double of a suit, you're done. Like you busted and you lose all the cards. So there's kind of that push your luck element that's very strong in this. You may have 4 cards out and you're like, well, if we just assume random, I have a 6 in 10 probability of getting something, but is that really worth losing the 4 cards I already have? And then after that, they start unlocking powers in the suits. So all the different suits of cards have different powers. For example, there's a key and a lock. And if you have both of those suits in the cards you're collecting, then all your cards get doubled and you get, a random selection, and you don't have to worry about it, failing. Or maybe you'll get the tentacles card, and the tentacles forces you to draw at least 2 more. And nothing's worse than if you like draw for a 4th or a 5th card, and all of a sudden it's like you get tentacles, so you have to draw, like a 6th and a 7th card, which is really nerve-wracking. And then each suit comes in like 2 to 7, and the whole point of the game is whoever ends up getting the most points wins. So it plays pretty quick. The rounds are pretty quick. It's a simple implementation, and it's a fun game. It's push your luck. There's a lot of luck to it. It's not very much strategy, but Well, there becomes more strategies. You get more of the powers, but it's an interesting game. I'm not sure I can give it a full ringing endorsement, but it's a good first start for them. Then I've been playing a game called Summoner Wars. So Summoner Wars has been out for over a year now on iOS, and I got it. And the first time I went and played it, I didn't get it. It's an implementation of a board game on iOS, and I had never played the board game. I was trying to learn just off the app, and I wasn't understanding it. Well, at one point, I ended up having a buddy here. I like to play board games a lot, and he said, "Well, hey, let's play Summoner Wars." And I said, "All right," even though I knew I didn't really like it on the iOS app. I learned it from him, and we played it. I really, really, really enjoyed it, playing the physical copy. And once I played the physical copy, all of a sudden it unlocked the iOS version for me. All of a sudden I understood how it worked and how to play it. There's a ton of variability because you can, swap out some of your guys. And so basically the way that this works is it's on like a little grid of let's see, what is that, 8 by 6, and you are a summoner of one particular faction. My favorite personally is the Jungle Elves, but this game is free to play, and you get the Phoenix Elves, and that's it. So the Phoenix Elves obviously have some powers around fire to be able to do special movement abilities. And the Jungle Elves have some cool things about them. Each faction has their own special abilities, and they feel very different. And since I had that, I've played it physically, I was able to start a few different asynchronous games, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So it might be worth checking out if you do like board games, but I'm a little concerned to recommending it because I didn't get it when I first played it. I had to go play the physical version before I understood how to play the iOS version. But once you get to the game, it feels a little bit like a more advanced version of chess, where the teams are not necessarily the exact same, and they have a bunch of special powers. And so, yeah, nothing like chess really, but it just kind of that really heavy strategic feel, trying to figure out what the best thing to do. You have different phases. You have event phase and summoning phase, and then you have your movement and your attack, and then you have to build your magic every turn. So there's a process that you go through every single time, and it has just really great asynchronous multiplayer. So really enjoying that one. So that's Summoner Wars. If you're interested, I would be more than happy to play you. And I will just use standard decks. But yeah, it's a good game. Really, really good game. So that's what I've been playing with. What have you been playing?
Wow. Not anywhere near as much as you.
Yeah, and I left a whole bunch out.
I've been playing a heck of a lot of Simpsons Tapped Out and Skylanders Lost Islands. There's been some Halloween updates to both of those, so I kind of play them every single day and do some fun stuff with that. So that's been fun, but it's yeah, that's Chase in the chat room is saying don't say Animal Crossing. No, it's been a long time since I played Animal Crossing, Chase. So you're safe. Yeah, besides that, I've been playing a game called Paint It Black, or Paint It Back, rather, which I'll be reviewing later in this episode. A lot of fun. Costume Quest came out on iOS for $5, and then just recently dropped to $3, so I finally picked it up. I owned it on the PlayStation 3, but it's a great Halloween game by some really great developers, and it is a heck of a lot of fun to play. So for $3, it was instantly worth it. So I've been playing a little bit about that. I've been playing a heck of a lot of Angry Birds Star Wars 2 with the kids, or what I like to call it, use all my special abilities that I worked hard to get all in one level game, because that seems to be what they do. I save up all of the special attacks and then I come back to my iPad 5 minutes later and they're all gone. Because yeah, that's what they do. So I've been playing a lot of that, and I've been checking out a game that I want to review. I haven't fully finished beating it yet. It's called Device 6, and it's a game, kind of. It's also a novel. It's a interactive art type thing. And basically the game is played by you reading and listening. It's better to play it with headphones because a lot of things happen. And you basically play it by, you can't see it on the video because of the glare, but you play it just by reading and scrolling things up. And when you get to the point in a story like here, I can't scroll anymore. There's text upside down, so I have to flip my iPad upside down and then continue reading in a different direction. And that's kind of how the whole game plays out. And there's like these crazy logic puzzles. Like in the first mission, you had to basically solve it through math, and it gave you like a really vague, like take the number in the orange circle and add this, and then add this number, and then you figure out what they're actually talking about. And it's like, oh, the orange circle. Oh yeah, right at the start there was something about an orange circle. So you go back and reread that paragraph, get that number, go solve different things, and it just gets deeper and crazier and more awesome from there. So it's hard to really describe it as a game because there's no points, there's no real mechanics. It's more of an interactive story. But I'm really, really digging it. I think it was like $4, something like that. When I finish it, I will definitely review it. It's something that takes a little bit of time to get through because I'm getting stuck in certain areas. So it's a lot of fun. So if you're into something or interested in something that's a little bit different, you might want to check out Device 6 on the App Store. So yeah, that's pretty much it, Jared. I've been playing a lot of Wii U, a lot of Disney Infinity, getting ready for this weekend. Played a lot of other stuff on I've been playing Pokemon. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5. I've been playing Beyond Two Souls. I just started up Lego Marvel Superheroes with the kids. So a lot of other stuff, but not so much on the iPad, unfortunately. So I'll have to get back into that.
I've been playing Pokemon 2.
It's good. Oh, Pokemon 2, that's an old one. That's what is that? Leaf green or something?
No, technically it would be Silver and Gold, but Gold. I won't hold that against you.
Okay, well, I'm not a Pokemon fan, except for this game for some strange reason. Which one did you buy, X or Y?
I bought Y.
Okay, I bought X.
I didn't. I thought the deer looks really dumb.
I thought the deer looked way better than the crazy, stupid-looking bird with hands. Like, you're a bird, you don't have hands, but the bird has hands, so I didn't like it.
Well, I see. We're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
I think so.
The fairy reindeer.
Yeah, he looks cute. I like reindeer. I like deer. All right, let's get into the rest of the show so we don't keep talking about deer. Let's get into the news. Let's start it off with Jared. I want to get your thoughts on the new devices that Apple announced last week. They announced the iPad Air, which is faster, smaller, better. Looks really cool. And then they also announced the Retina iPad Mini. So what did you think of the announcements? We haven't done a show since the press announcement.
Yeah, so it was really interesting, right? Because the iPad Air basically replaces what we now call, just the normal iPad.
Mm-hmm.
It
kind of.
Because
they kept the iPad 2 around, which is like 3 generations old now, which is bizarre. Why would you keep that one? Why don't you take like the iPad 3 and put that, or the iPad 4 and put it as the $299 model, or whatever the price is, $399 model? But I guess that's not the way Apple rolls.
So do you have a theory at all behind why they didn't do that? Why they didn't keep the iPad 3 or 4 around and just kept the 2 around?
Probably costs. In the earning call that they just had, they've been talking about a lack of profit or a reduction in profit that they've been making. So it looks like their component costs are up for to make these new devices, but they're keeping the prices the same, so they're making less on each unit, which panicked a lot of their stockholders. So maybe they're keeping the two around because the components are essentially free to them now. They're so old. In the way technology kind of increases and goes crazy, something that's 2 years old is a fraction of the amount to produce now. So I'm thinking that, and plus it's a little bit easier to create. It's not so jam packed in there. It's just there's a lot of room inside the actual iPad 2 if you've ever seen it take apart. So I think that all kind of plays into it. I don't know.
I think one of my other theories here is that the 30-pin connector. That's the last one that they have that use the 30-pin connector, and there was a lot of people that have a ton of accessories that adapt to that 30-pin connector.
Well, the Retina iPad 3 had a 30-pin connector. That's the one that I have. So I guess they wanted one without a Retina screen, and that was low cost. But why you would buy the $100 cheaper iPad, I don't even know. Like, buy an iPad mini if you want something cheaper. Like, the tech is ancient. I mean, it still plays games, but and it still plays all the other apps, and you can still browse the web and everything like that. But spend the extra $100 and get the iPad Air. It's fast. It's actually even faster. It's the same CPU that's inside of the iPhone 5S, which is the new A7. But they've actually increased the clock speed from 1.3 gigahertz to 1.4 gigahertz. It's 64-bit CPU. You're going to definitely get a lot of kind of hidden benefits that you maybe don't know are benefits just by developers being a little bit smarter with the way that they write their code. The stuff that I've seen, like the iPhone 5S, seeing some of the games run on it is ridiculous. I could just imagine what it's going to look like on an amazing Retina screen. So yeah, I don't know. I love the iPad Air. I have an iPad 3, like I said. I didn't get the iPad 4. I'm kind of wanting an iPad Air, but then at the same time, they released the iPad Mini with Retina, which was the thing that I said, okay, if Apple ever comes out with this one, I'm going to buy one. And now I don't know, because I kind of like the iPad Air. I don't know.
Yeah, and the iPad Mini is a very interesting product as well, right? Because they updated the processor not just one generation, but they went a couple generations.
Yep. Yeah, it's using the 7 as well, right?
Yeah, and it has kind of that iPad Mini, and it also has the Retina. So it's almost like they, it just seems like it was a little surprising, to be honest.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I really think that iPad Mini with Retina is a really appealing product at the moment. I mean, obviously, I like the iPad Air, but
yeah,
to replace my iPod Touch, which didn't get refreshed this year, and everything else, I'm thinking maybe the iPad Mini with Retina is the way to go. Though I may or may not do it this year. Still haven't decided on that one.
Yeah, like I really want one. I really, really do. The problem is I watch a lot of video on my iPad, so having the smaller screen would be kind of an annoyance for that. And then at the same time, I have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One to purchase in the next little while as well. It's like, do I need to buy another $500 Apple product with all these other things around? So, yeah, I don't know. I was convinced that the second that they came out with a Retina iPad Mini, I would be all over that. Now, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get. Or if I'm going to wait for another generation, maybe. I
think I'm kind of leaning towards waiting one more generation.
Yeah.
Because a PS4 or Xbox One, but just because I don't know. I just feel
okay with the one I have.
Yeah, the one I have is doing a good enough job, but I'm really, that iPad Mini with Retina is very appealing because it's a little bigger than my current iPod Touch, but yet whenever I play with an iPad, it just feels too big and unwieldy. So it's tempting.
Yeah, I mean, it weighs next to nothing. It's like you won't even know that you're holding something. It's so light. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get or if I'm going to wait. But it was pretty cool to see the announcements that Apple released at that event. So some new devices.
So it's not coming out till next year. I think that's important to notice as well.
What's not coming? The mini?
Or sorry, next month,
Yeah.
not next
I
year.
was like, no, it's coming out in November. Yeah, the iPad Air comes out November 1st, and the mini says later in November. So whatever that means, I'm not sure. Probably
Yep.
November 30th is what it will probably be. Or maybe it'll come out just in time for your Black Friday in the US.
Yay,
Who
Black
knows?
Friday.
Yep. All right, cool. That's enough about that. Let's get into some of the news stories that we have. Apple announced this week, actually today, I believe, that they finally added the ability for developers to basically destroy all of the cheaters by either removing their scores from Game Center or by actually banning that person from ever submitting a high score. I don't know about you, Jared, but when I play a lot of games that have a high score in it, there's always someone that has like 23 billion points, and then you have like 10,000, and you played a really good game and you should be high up on the leaderboards, but there's always someone that has a impossible score. It looks like this is something that developers have been asking for a long time, and Apple has finally delivered. I think it's a really good thing. It's not really going to really change anything. It's just going to make it probably nicer for developers, so they don't have to look at their high scores and see all these garbage scores that really mean nothing.
I have a question. Do you actually look at high scores in your games very often?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I like that. I like to see where I stack up. I play too much to really ever gun for first place. Some people that do that, they play that game and that's all they play. Some other people are just really ridiculously good at things, so they get high scores all the time. That's not me. I play too many games. But I'll do like I'll finish a level, and when it has a high score list, I want to see like, am I in the top 1,000? Am I in the top 100? Am I like the top 100,000? Then I usually stop playing that game and go into something a little bit different. But there was always the top end was always people that were basically using a jailbroken device to submit bogus high scores. So it's going to be a nice little feature for developers to take advantage of if they choose to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because it seems like it's going to be a lot of manual intensive work for developers to try and fix this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, moving on. It was announced today as well that something from my childhood is coming to iOS, and that is the Double Dragon trilogy is actually going to be coming to iOS and Android this year. I played a lot of Double Dragon, the first one, and the trilogy is obviously a collection of Double Dragon 1, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, and Double Dragon 3, The Rosetta Stone. And it's being brought out by .emu or .mu, depending on how you want to say their name. Basically, they write really good emulators and then strike deals up with companies to release their games. They did a lot of them over the last little while. And this is going to be a collection of the 3 games that work on both your iPhone and your iPad. They will have support for Bluetooth controllers. They have a bunch of different game modes. So if it's too difficult, you can get back in and play it at an easier difficulty as well, which is really cool. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of retro stuff, and this makes me very, very happy. And the .mu apps are always pretty affordable as well. So I'm sure you'll like. They came out with the Raiden trilogy, and I think it was like $3 or something crazy, or maybe it was $5. So I'm assuming this is going to be around the same price, somewhere between $3 and $5. And you can play your old school arcade side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I know, Jared, you're not into the retro stuff so much. So this probably isn't exciting for you.
So here's the question.
It's not a 4X game, Jared. So no,
When are they
you're not
bringing
space
out
trading at all.
Wasn't it Double Dragon Battletoads?
Double Dragon versus Battletoads. Yeah, that was an NES game. So,
Dude, I played that one so much.
I can pretty much say that it will never make it to the App Store. I'm pretty sure, because it is an NES title. But anything's possible, I guess.
That's the only. Well, but you can't say that, because there are some games that have been
That's
on
true.
Nintendo platforms that have come over.
That's true.
But that game was a game I played a ton of.
I
So
played it for a bit of that as well. So
yeah,
you
let me
did
know
play
when
old
that one's
games.
coming out,
Okay.
and then I'll care. Okay.
Maybe it'll be a hidden extra ROM that's somewhere in the bowels of this game.
That would be amazing. That would just make my entire day. So, hey, what was my absolute favorite game of last year?
Um, some sort of board game thing.
No,
No, you a game that had pimple ration zits in it.
you're completely failing at this. Do you ever listen
That's the
when I talk?
Battletoad
Are
name.
you over there playing?
That's the Battletoad names. You didn't pick up on
Oh,
that
I
one?
forgot that.
Yeah,
Zits and I
ration
forgot.
pimples or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sad that I remember that. That's so long ago. You were a huge Combo Crew fan.
No, I wasn't a huge Combo Crew fan. I was a huge Squids fan, and
That's true.
Combo Crew was the game that came out after. And to be honest, it was a bit of a disappointment to me. Probably because I had my hopes set way, way, way too high because I loved Squids so much. And Combo Crew was okay. It wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't a great game.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. It was fun for what
Yeah,
it was.
fun little like beat 'em up. Really focusing on just beating up lots of bad guys and good game. Um, so they came out with an update, which for me was really, really surprising because it kind of came out of nowhere. They already had added Beautiful Joe,
Hmm.
and they now added Ryu, Ken, Chun Li, and Blanca from Street Fighter.
Which is bizarre. I mean, they're not Capcom, so what are they doing here?
It's incredible to me that this teeny tiny studio is, getting the IP to put in these four Street Fighter characters and previously Beautiful Joe. Beautiful Joe is Capcom, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe they just,
Maybe they have
were able to.
fans.
Yeah, maybe
They have
maybe they
fans
were
there.
able to work out a deal. Somebody in Capcom really liked their game. So really, really cool. And with that, right now you can get the game for free. So you can get it out. You can add people to your crew, and adding people to your crew allows you to go further in it because you can be like, "Hey, I struggled on this level. Come help me," and then your crewman can come in over and help you rescue you. So it's kind of cool. And the bigger your crew is, the farther you can get. It sounds like there's at least one person in the chat rooms that was interested
Hmm.
to start playing it again. I think I'm going to go pick it back up and play a few rounds.
Yeah.
It looks like each one of the characters is a 99-cent download.
Yeah.
So
Or you could buy the Capcom pack, which has all four Street Fighters and Beautiful Joe for $4.
yeah. And they also said any future new characters. So I don't know if that means that there are future new characters that they just haven't announced,
Yeah.
or they're just covering themselves. I
Yeah.
don't really know about that. I get a little nervous when a game is like, oh, and you'll get the whatever we bring
You
out
get
in the future.
any future stuff that we don't have any plans to bring out, but if we do, by
Which tweet
some
me.
by some crazy thing, you'll get it. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm super surprised to see Street Fighter in this game that is not from Capcom, because they're usually really, really protective of their IP. So I don't know. I kind of want to know what happened to get this out there on the App Store.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, it's really, really cool. Um, and and anyway, so that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see what they keep coming out with. And I'm excited to find out what they play just because I like Squid so much. So
Yeah, Squids is good. Did you know Squids is coming to 3DS?
I did, but it's going to be way more expensive, so I'm not sure I care enough. But they did say that there were going to be new levels that haven't ever been on anything else,
Mhm.
which unfortunately means if it's on like DSi download, I may end up with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we'll see.
Cool. All right. Well, that's going to about do it for news. Let's get into the couple reviews that we have for you this week. Jared, why don't you kick it off with what you have to tell us about Marvel Puzzle Quest?
Okay, so this is an interesting game. Just let me start that off. Had I reviewed it 2 weeks ago, I would have said it's a complete cash grab, and I would have given it like a 2. And somehow they keep fixing stuff. Well, I mean, not somehow. They obviously are doing app updates and everything else, and they're slowly making it Less and less of a cash grab. They're making it more interesting. They're now adding in these like storylines. So let me step back here and tell you what it is. So Puzzle Quest is kind of that established series where it's kind of an RPG mixed with a match three puzzle game. Um, they have had a couple iterations of it in the original, which is like dungeon exploring, and then they had a version that instead of used I don't know, a tetrahedron. I don't know. A four-sided puzzle. They did a six-sided puzzle. They did a hex puzzle, and it was Galactrix, and that one was fun too. Some people didn't like it, but I still liked it a lot. And that was kind of it. And we haven't heard a lot from the company that did those, and kind of known at all what they're doing. And actually, this wasn't made by the people who made Puzzle Quest. It was made by a different company using the Puzzle Quest IP and also using the Marvel IP. Um, and so basically, what happens in this one is you go into battles. In any battle, you take three of your characters. There's six different colors of pieces on any given board. And then there's a seventh, which is an environment piece. And your characters will have different ratings. For example, if I go pull up, I think my highest rated character right now is an Iron Man that I have. He's not. I mean, he's pretty high. He's like level 30, but he's not super high. Because, yeah, I'll explain that later. But you can get really high on it. Um, and on this Iron Man, for example, if I match depending on what color I match, I get a different amount of attack. So if I match red tiles, I get 20 points of attack. Yellow tiles, I get 18. Blue, I get 16. And then those are the ones that I'm okay at. And then on the other ones, like green and purple, I only get 6 points of attack. And then black, I only get 5. So if I were to match 3 black, I would only get 15 attack. But if I match 3 red, I get 60 points of attack. So it's obviously very, very different. That's a 4x difference easily. So what you end up having to do is you want to create your team of 3 characters of people who have strengths in different colors. So you don't want to, for example, use Iron Man along with Captain America, because they, or at least the iterations that I have, they have their powers in the same 3 colors. So then what happens is you go through. There's a single player story campaign that you're fighting through these different events that are going on. There's kind of dialogue written, and I would say that in my opinion the dialogue is less good than, say, like a comic book, which is a little cheesy to begin with often. So the dialogue is usually not really all that great. And sometimes you're fighting against supervillains, and then other times you're just fighting against henchmen. Um, and you go through various different story points. Currently in the game, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 storylines. You have your beginner ones, and then fighting different big bad guys like Juggernaut and Venom, and then all the Dark Avengers. And Oscorp. So you have different storylines, and they get progressively harder. So you pick your 3 characters, and like I said, you want to make sure they're different, and then you go to battle. So you do match 3 puzzling. If you're able to get 4, then you blow up the entire line. If you do 5, then you generate a critical tile, and you get an extra turn. And those are pretty critical, especially if you're in a difficult battle. Because then you're able to do multiple turns to be able to string it together without getting hit back. Then, in addition, whenever you match red ones, for example, you generate red action points, and with enough red action points, you can then go do their special moves. The special moves correspond with the ones that they're good at. So, like I was telling you, Iron Man had high red, yellow, and blue. Well, he has special moves in red, yellow, and blue, which is great because, if you're focusing on getting him to be useful, you can focus on the colors he's good and also use his special moves. And everyone's special moves are very, very different, and they try to align to the powers that the superheroes have. Okay, so that's all great. That's the main thing. You're collecting different superheroes. You get them, a lot of them as rewards. You'll get cards, and then you combine cards to raise the level of their abilities. And then the way that works is you raise the level of their abilities, and then the level cap on them raises. So if you collect all of the, let's see, what's an easy one? Black Widow. There's a total of 10 cards. There's five of the two abilities she has. And so then you have to get enough crystal, which I think is called like ISO 8 or something. So you get enough of the crystal that you can then level her up. And when they level up, they increase their powers, they increase their hitting ability, they increase their life. So you want to level them up as much as you can. When you go to battle, they get damaged. It takes time. This is a freemium game, so the way that they play it is you have to wait time before they're ready to go to battle again. You do have health packs that regenerate over time. There's 4 health packs that you get up to. It used to be 6, but they did reduce that to 4. But the other thing that they did was it used to be in order to level your guy all the way up, you would have to have a huge number of cards. Like you'd have to have a card every single time you level. And now when you have a card, you can do several levels, which is good because it was a little nasty thinking, for Iron Man, I would have to get 50 cards before I'd be able to have him maxed out. All right, so that's the other part of the game, the collecting. It does at times feel a little bit slow. Like you'll play a level or you'll go replay a level and you only get like 20 crystal because you won't get on any given level. There's 4 rewards and they randomly select one. And if they select one that you've already received, you just get like 20 crystal, which is really garbage. It's not worth it basically, but you're always taking that. You're often taking that chance. So the update did a huge amount to reduce that barrier. The other big update, it added daily rewards. So if you go in and play every day, you'll get stuff, whatever it may be, to help you grow your team or level up your characters. That's a cool little feature that they added. And then there's also the other area where this game goes is multiplayer. So you're playing it, and at first they just had like arenas where you went and you battled other people's teams, and if they were higher than you, you got more little crystals. If they were lower than you got less. And then they give you rewards for hitting certain numbers. So, like if you get up to say 500 points, you'd get a card. And then you also get rewards for where you are at in the standings at the end of the game. So if at the end of the game you're in 100th place, you get a certain reward, and you get a better reward if you're higher up. So you get kind of double rewarded. You get one while you're playing it, and then one when the event comes to a close. They've had those ones for a while, and at first there was just one of those going all the time, and it was kind of lame because somebody gets a character that's way super high leveled and can just dominate you, and you can't do anything about it. Well, they added a different storyline one, which is interesting because it goes for like a week, and every day there's new missions in this story to kind of go do and find out how the story's developing. I really think that this was a great thing because it what makes me want to log in every day and go and see what the next steps are. And it has the same thing where you get rewarded for playing, and then you also get a reward at the end based on where you're at in the standings. How much of the story you completed compared to the rest of the world. They are doing a lot of things to make this game better. So it's really been interesting to me just to see how far it's come in the 4 weeks I think now that I've been playing it. And like I said, when it first came out, I probably would have given it a 2 out of 4. And now I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5. 2 out of 4, 2 out of 5. Now I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5 and say it's one that you might want to check out. I, as you know, often go and get a freemium game that I get addicted to for a while. I'm pretty sure this is it for the next foreseeable future, though. I don't know. Tiny Death Star could knock me off of it. But until then, I'll be playing this game, and it's a 4 out of 5 Marvel Puzzle Quest. I have not spent that much um, in it. I did spend a couple of dollars to be able to expand my collection a little bit and get some higher level characters, but it really didn't help me as much as I thought it would. So, you can learn from that and not buy anything or do whatever you want. But I enjoy the game. It does feel a little bit cash hungry, but you can also have a lot of fun without spending anything. So that's Marvel Puzzle Quest 4 out of 5 for me, and that was a long review.
Yeah, it was. I was actually getting into my game a little bit, and I was like, wow, this is going on forever. Am I playing Disney Infinity for 25 hours? But no, I wasn't. Just kidding. No, it was really good. I played it. I downloaded it and played it, and kind of ran into that pay wall, and I was just like, ugh, yeah, no, thank you, bye-bye type thing. But maybe I should give it another chance. Seems
you played it on the front end?
Yeah, like the first day that it came out, I started playing it, and it was really cash hungry.
So I don't know. Maybe you should wait another 2 weeks and then play it, because it'll be amazing by then. The rate they're going, like
it'll be the best game ever.
Yeah, like it'll be. I feel like it's still not quite up on the level of like the Puzzle Quest, like the main series.
Right.
But it is so much better than it was when it first came out, and now I'm really, really enjoying it. So.
Very cool. Okay, cool. Well, I'm actually just in my game right now, messing around. So I will stop that because I have to talk about my review, and I'm going to be reviewing a game called Paint It Black, or Paint It Back. I always call it Paint It Black, obviously, because there is the song Paint It Black, but it's called Paint It Back. It's by Casual Labs, and it's free for a trial. It's by, as I said, Casual Labs. When you jump into the game, it basically shows you an animation of an art gallery that then basically a ghost flies around and steals all of the paintings, and then you get a really stressed out artist, curator. I don't know why the artist would be so stressed, but curator / artist basically comes in and says, what did you do? And now we have to paint it back. And that's where the game gets its name. So basically, Paint It Back is Picross. If you're familiar with Nintendo's title Picross, where you're basically making a picture by filling out little squares, you know exactly what this game is. There's been a few Picross clones on the App Store. I've played pretty much all of them, or at least all of them that that I found. There might be some other ones that I missed. But essentially, Picross is just you filling in squares, and then making little images. Like I'm making an image of a comet smashing into a city, I guess is what that is. Where Paint It Back changes from the other ones that are on the App Store is there's a story around it. It's presented in this really cool kind of 8-bit looking but blocky at the same time, kind of I guess it's kind of like a refined version of Minecraft look to it. It's really interesting, and it plays really, really good. So as I said, it's Picross, so you're making pictures by filling in little squares, which is a lot of fun. Where this one changes things a little bit is it's also an achievement hunter's wet dream. There's a lot of really cool achievements that are associated with it. The game, as I said, is free to start, and when you get the free version, it has 3 galleries that you can compete in. But if you want to unlock the rest of the game, it's $2.99, or you can unlock individual chunks, so 4 galleries at a time for 99 cents each. So it costs you $1 extra if you do it that way. But if you maybe aren't a huge fan of Picross, that might be the way you maybe want to go, just so that you're not spending a lot of money for something you're not playing. But then if you play the whole thing, you're going to be paying more. A decision you have to make yourself, I guess. But yeah, I mean it's $3. It's Picross. There are a whole bunch of achievements which are really fun to get. I'm trying to get to the achievement section right now. The achievement section is actually laid out really kind of funny. When you go there, it basically shows the artist, and he has a whole bunch of pins on his shirt, or doesn't, because I haven't filled them in yet, all of them yet. And basically, there's achievements for basically doing the different game modes, for solving all the puzzles. Every time you solve a puzzle, you get a medal. If you solve a bigger puzzle on the hard mode, you get 2 medals. So there's an achievement for getting all 100 medals in the game. Things like that. There's speed medals. There's other sorts of things. So I know that when I get to the very final different galleries, I haven't beaten all the worlds yet, just because some of them get really difficult and take a lot of time. But I've played enough Picross to know that this is a really good version of Picross. There's even a mystery masterpiece section, which is the last one that you unlock, and there's no title, there's no canvas, and no help. I haven't gotten there yet because I'm scared, but I know that's going to be sort of the hardest part of the game, and what's going to keep me coming back to it. It's fun to download, to check it out, even if you don't want to pay money. There's a nice chunk of content that you get in the free version. But there's 140 different paintings if you buy all the content that you can jump in and play while you do it. A lot of fun. I'm loving it. I'm a Picross fan. I have a whole pile of Picross games on my DS, my 3DS, and this one could easily be something that I would see on a Nintendo console. It's done that well. So Paint It Back, free to try, $3 to unlock everything. Gets a 5 out of 5 for me. It's exactly what it describes itself to be, and it is a heck of a lot of fun to play with. So do check that one out. Paint It Back, 5 out of 5.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
So I've also been playing Paint It Back, and may I just say my favorite feature on it is just something very simple, and that is that when I play a lot of these other Picross games, if I put something and I mess up, it immediately tells me I'm wrong, even if I touch the wrong spot. Whereas this one allows me to make a mistake, and if I make a mistake, then you can see the numbers change, and they won't work out right. It'll still have the numbers wrong, or it'll have the numbers highlighted if you're wrong. So I really, really like that it allows me to make that mistake and then go try and figure out how to fix it, as opposed to immediately giving me a ding that I'm wrong. I really, really like that about the game.
No, I definitely have to agree with you.
It's so simple, but it makes a big difference.
Earlier today, I spent like 20 minutes trying to fix one of the puzzles and was so close to just restarting it. And it's like, no, I can figure this out. So yeah, it definitely adds replayability, which is a weird thing to say about almost like a punishment, but it really isn't a punishment. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. I do urge you all to check it out, if only for the free trial. Play through that, see what you think. But I do think you will dig it, just like Jared and I do. So 5 out of 5. Definitely go check it out. All right, man. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode of the podcast. As we said at the top of the show, please come check out our Extra Life and support us if you can. Some great prizes up for grabs for the Disney Infinity one, so you can check into that as well. It's a great cause, and it helps a lot of children every single year. Extra Life raised over $2 million last year. I'm hoping that we can help them to raise even more this year for various children's hospitals all over the country. Let us know what you think of the show. Head on over to vgpodcast.com and check out the page there. You can click contact us, or you could just email us directly at vgpodcast@gmail.com. You can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VGPodcasts, and send us a voicemail, and we can potentially use it in a future episode of the show. All right, Jared, that's going to about do it, man. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad we could finally get together and get something done. Yeah,
man. Have a good night, and sorry it's so late.
Yeah, it's now tomorrow. It's now Wednesday. We started this on Tuesday, so I'm gonna go. I was gonna post this tonight. I think I'm just gonna go to bed because I need to sleep as much as I possibly can because Saturday is gonna be ridiculous, but in the best possible way. So, thanks again, everybody, for checking out the show and staying subscribed. And Jared, thanks for joining me. We will talk to you all in about a week's time.
Bye.
Take it easy.